I totally forgot I had my synthenoid sounds after that last episode. These guys make Ratchet look like he's kind of a celebrity, which in a way he sorta is. I mean, after all, he did save the Solana Galaxy, his home galaxy, in the past, back in the first game. So it makes sense he would have his own little entourage to guide him around. Greetings all, it's Blue Knight, and welcome back to Ratchet & Clank, going Commando. Previously, we landed on planet Todano, speaking of which, and already secured coordinates to another planet, Planet Bodon, to my everlasting surprise, to be honest. I forgot that was uh, a route that would take us to some coordinates. Today, we're gonna head through the facility, which was the main attraction of this planet's movie. You can take these things out, by the way. And we'll see what lies inside, as we have done so in the past with other kinds of facilities. Also off screen, I switched to the tractor beam just for this upcoming segment. I totally forgot we had to use that gadget in this facility. Yeah, remember this thing? We haven't used it since like the second planet of the game, which was the Maktar Resort. It wasn't even a planet, it was more of a location, an establishment, if you will. You see, it's a cute little sheep here too. You can't take it out with your wrench, but I'm doing that. That's inhumane. So we're gonna see more of these tractor beam segments. And look at that, our friend from Maktar's back here as well. Turns out he's got more than one location that he's trying to make ends meet on. So use these towers to get through these gates. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you'll take damage if you touch them. No, it just blocks you off. I thought they would damage you in the past. Guess I was wrong about that. Now, of course, we'll need our friend here to give us clearance to the next section of this facility. So that big Megacorp bot that we saw in the last episode, where we're taking the side route, I guess side route quote unquote, is known as the Megacorp Robot Guard. The funny thing is about that guard is designed to become a staple for future enemies, as his internal name was known as the Giant Flying Torso, which is pretty funny to me. It came from the designer who was running out of ideas for new enemies, which I find hilarious. But also very interesting that something like generic as that robot guard would play a influential role in the grand scheme of things as far as the Ratchet Clank games go. Something I didn't know about. Speaking of things I didn't know about, I didn't know about this little opening up here for the longest time, because I didn't bother looking up at all while I was going through the facility at first. So if you go over here, I'm sure at some point, I know enemy's gonna show up here. I know this place well enough now. There he is. There's a Megacorp Robot Guard. That's the guy who's gonna be a template for future enemies and future games to come. So you're kind of a big deal, but now you're dead. Or destroyed, because you're a robot. Robots are dead. They don't have lives, or human emotions, at least depending on which medium that you follow.
Captain Quark, completing quality control on Super Electro Gadget. Hammer of power detecting no defects. Ratchet averted. I knew this day would come. Draw your last enemy mine, for I smite you in the name of Captain Quark! Sweet death. At last we meet. Nobly, I fall on the field of battle. Finish me, Lombax!
Come on, Clank. Let's get going.
Wait! You shamed the greatest superhero who ever lived! You owe me something.
What do you want from us, sir?
Ooh! How about some cool Quark stuff from your galaxy? Trade you for this armor magnetizer?
I believe that device is designed to attract bolts.
We'll need the Captain Core collectible. I know where we can get this. It's a little bit later in the game, but I didn't know that this guy existed for the absolute longest time. Also, he's a very clear example of what happens when you take a fandom of something you love a little too far. Just saying. Be sure to like what you like, but don't get it to the point where it might harm other people, folks. It's a healthy life lesson. Probably goes without saying, but sometimes it needs reiterating because you never know the crazies out there that might like things a little too obsessively. So now we head back down here. We'll be seeing that guy again later on. And I know we'll need to use the tractor beam here for more of this facility. And to go into more tribute the gadgets, somehow the infiltrator that we used last episode was much easier to develop than the electrolyzer, as well as in the cases of debugging and making puzzles for those gadgets, which I find really strange. Because if you see on the surface, the electrolyzer, it's not that hard to use, but I guess it was much harder to do for like developing and making the dang thing, which was pretty weird when I found out about that. By the way, you can strip the tractor beam like so, get into that little segment with the rocket, and it'll blow up after a bit. And I'm pretty sure the explosion still won't harm you either, so don't worry about it. And speaking of the tractor beam, apparently most of its use for like designing puzzles was used up back at the Mactar Resort, since the area designer for it was having a hard time making a place for the gadget. And afterwards, the tractor beam is used for like optional stuff and some platinum bolts, since the Bactar section was the only time that gadget, the tractor beam, was ever really required to be used. So TLDR, the designer ended up burning out. Oh my god, that robot just got annihilated. Wow, that chicken bomb just got totaled. I was not expecting that. I was just yapping my head off until I realized that those troopers were there. Anyway, that's what I was saying. It's pretty weird that the tractor beam was only ever required for like one level, because from here on out, it's kind of a optional gadget to use. I guess aside from this planet, because we have to use it to get through a couple of points, but that's really the extent of the tractor beam being required to use for like main progression. Because the designer essentially burned himself out on trying to come up with problems designed around the tractor beam to be used. It really never occurred to me just how little the tractor beam does get used in the grand scheme of things, because they position it in an early part of the game, so when you do acquire it almost at the beginning of this game, you think it will become like a important gadget later on, but no, you only use it for like one level after you get it, and then it just becomes practically non-existent for usage. By the way, this is the reason why I want to get the Spider-Bot Glove, because for puzzles like this, that way we don't have to worry about backtracking later on. So use the Spider-Bot to get through this vent, and eventually you'll end up over here. There should be a switch, and over here's a Platinum Bolt. You can use the Spider Bot to damage enemies too for like smart placement, where you want to attack from a really far distance, or try to use something out of cover, but you don't want to engage the enemy directly. And as you can see, the Spider Bot can be upgraded too if you use it enough to kill enough foes, and gather enough nanotech too in the process. Something I'll have to be a little vigilant about, because the Spider-Bot Glove, at least in my opinion, is one of the harder weapons to upgrade, because you don't really use it for combat that much. So I hope I can get some use out of that for this playthrough, enough where it can be upgraded. Now I got more of this, more of these kind of puzzles to worry about. Not that hard to do, just take the tall one up to the left, Also very convenient that you use strafing with gadgets like the tractor beam, because it makes going through puzzles like this a lot more streamlined. And kaboom, and there it goes. Now we got even more for the tractor beam to be utilized. This part can be a little tricky, but I remember on my first time going through this set piece, I got through without being damaged at all. It's very surprising to me. So do that, and then keep pace with the gadget or the structure as much as you can. And there you go. That's usually how it turns out for me in most of my runs through this place. It's a lot easier than you think when you're able to prep yourself for it, but I can imagine this little section being quite difficult for some folks. I was never one of those folks though. Speaking of things that can stump you, this could also be something that can wall you for a bit, as you might have to use a little brain power in order to get by this next part. It's nothing too difficult. Just gotta swap the rockets around, and then when you find a path for one of them to be used in its right place, then you can move it into its section. Like that. And no problem, no sweat. We already got through to the next part. And there it goes again. It's pretty nice for getting more use of the tractor beam again, because it's been quite an age since we were even thinking about using that at all. And hop up here. You can also hang on to this, to the ledge of this rocket if you're worried about trying to climb up while in movement. That's what I've done in the past. At least the plasma coil here, not enough usage for this. And it can be pretty good against this particular swarm of guards, especially for the ones up top that are locked to a choke point. I'll switch between that and the bouncer, since it's gotta take care of these guys too. And that guy completely ran into my bouncer sphere, nice. And the little bouncer bombs that come out once the main sphere breaks, those are known as bomblets. That's the word that I didn't think of using in the past, but those are what those smaller bouncing balls are officially called. And I believe that's the end of this segment. And wouldn't you know it, we have found the reason why we've been seeing so many sheep. Well, the game's spoiled for us ahead of time, but we've got our comedy weapon of the game, the Sheepinator. I'm pretty sure this thing's supposed to be a gadget, not a weapon. Let's check the quick select for a moment. Uh, oh no, it is a weapon, and it can be upgraded too. And now that I've seen that, I know what the advantage is in upgrading the Sheepinator. You can also see why there are so many sheep around here, like I've said before. And that will bring our time here on Todano to a quick, whoa, merciful end. Well, these guys are gonna be merciful. That's no problem. I'll just vaporize them. I said vaporize. Please. Don't tractor up. We can't do anything about that, Ratchet. There we go. Much better. There's also a weapons vendor here that I think wasn't there before, but if it was, I completely ignored it. Kinda strange that there are two weapon vendors so close to each other like that. But I guess they figured this section, or this planet, would be kinda hard to get through, even though it really wasn't. Also, we're more than halfway through and getting to this weapon, hover bomb gun, which I'm very happy about. Granted, I got a head start on it off screen, but still, it's nice to be prepared when you can. Yeah, we can take this zipline all the way down. And we're basically done here. But I'm gonna leave it and re-enter Todano because there's a skill point here that is attached to getting our new Sheepinator. For this next skill point, we need to use the Sheepinator on the test squirrels that are running amok throughout the landscape. You gotta board at least 16 of them to get the skill point, and there should be more than enough for you to turn into sheep with your new weapon in order to get this point. Even on subsequent runs, the game is kind enough to give you enough sheeps to for you to turn or convert into such the animal. Also, I didn't know that I get another nanotech upgrade like that. That again surprised me. Then again, we are entering into like the mid part of the game or like the late mid part, so we're encountering enemies that are going to be tougher to fight. But as a result, they will give you more nanotech upon being killed. So it's a good risk-reward trade-off sort of deal. But I'm pretty sure that's necessary for us to take advantage of in the way of like upgrading our weapons and our health too. That guy was in the way. Uh-oh. Well, I guess so. That's what I get for taking on an innocent tourist. I was gonna say that guy was in the way. He had a comment, but that's I guess what happens when I don't respect the civilians. Well, at least I got to respawn and get my skill point like that. I didn't mean to do that. I was meaning to get the skill point back at the bridge of this place. Oh well. At least the game does count for squirrels you already got in the past before you end up getting killed like I just did, whether accidental or intentional. But like I said, the sheep eater is used to get nanotech. Like you can see, it's starting to build up already. It's upgrading meter. So besides converting all these sheep into squirrels, or squirrels into sheep, that's pretty much all we can do now to Todano officially. So next time we're gonna head to Planet Bolden, as that is our next location, to see where we can learn more about the Protopet, which is called the Experiment for the longest time. I tell ya, it was really tough not calling the Protopet by that name, because I'm used to saying that like for frickin' ever, since that's the real name instead of the Experiment. But I forgot how long it took for the game to... Ah, I guess someone's having trouble. Oh, that's Fizz Richard Bot's problem to bear, not mine. I wonder if he's actually gonna get out to get by those sheep, because he's gotta run a tour. You know what? I gotta take my aggression out of these guys. This is what you get for getting in my way. No one gets in the hero's way. Ha ha! I swear I'm a hero, I swear. I swear Ratchet's a good person. You can't take on the Fizz Richard Bot though, it's immortal. I'm gonna leave him there to keep entertaining the sheep, I guess. As I'll be on my way back to head to my next destination. Man, this game and its glitches. Those bugs like that are becoming more and more prevalent the more I play this game. I am not used to seeing stuff like that, but hey, life's full of surprises, I guess. Anyways, next time, we hit the planet Bolden. Until we meet again, farewell for now.